What up everybody, it's Charlie and I'm back. So in this video I want to talk a little bit about a book that I read recently by Adrienne Maree Brown, and it's called Pleasure Activism. This book has really changed my life and the way that I think about my pleasure and going through my daily experience of life. And I don't say that lightly. I read a lot of books and most of them are not life-changing, but in this case this really has helped me to think differently, and so I wanted to share that with you guys today. So the concept of pleasure activism is that the way that we can radically love ourselves and radically change the world is by tapping into what brings us the most pleasure. I think this goes back to what I'm always talking about with the beloved community, that it's important to be seen, known, loved, and encouraged to be yourself fully. And I think part of being yourself fully is fully pursuing the things that are important to you and that bring you joy and that kind of steer you in the direction of being your most authentic self. So what I really like about the book is that it encourages you to do all of those things and to radically pursue your own pleasure. And this is something that I think was hard for me at first, because in our society it's taught, or it was taught to me in particular, that it's selfish to think about myself first, and that is not a positive thing. But this book helped me to understand that for me to be able to think about other people and for me to be able to put myself out there and be the person that I want to be in my communities, I have to focus on myself. And if I am not going into those relationships out of pure pleasure, then I'm going into them trying to use people for what I can get out of it. And that's not the type of precedent that I want to set in my relationships. And so for me, it's important to radically pursue my own pleasure. And that includes the people in my life, because I think everyone deserves to be fully loved and fully seen and fully known and fully encouraged to be themselves. And if I can't authentically show up as myself and have joy and pleasure in making that happen and seeing that in someone else's life, then how can I be authentic? In the polyamorous community, we talk a lot about compersion, or I guess if you go back even further, it's a Buddhist concept of mudita. And what it talks about is being joyful for someone else and like being able to experience delight for someone else going through a good experience. And for me to be able to do that, I need to first show up for myself and show up in a way that brings me pleasure, and so I can kind of reflect that pleasure back because I know what it feels like myself. I'm not trying to like abstractly figure out like what it would mean to be happy for someone or what it would mean for someone to be happy in those situations, because I myself have pursued that own happiness and know what it's like and really want that for someone else out of the bottom of my heart. So I don't know if that made sense, but that's kind of what I've been thinking about in terms of pleasure activism. And I think it's something that can radically change the way that we think and move and live and work in our communities. And I think it's a way that we can authentically show up as our whole selves, and that's something I really believe in. So I hope this video was helpful to you guys. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say about it, as always, and I'll see you next time. Deuce.